Spiky Bits. Make sure you stay in the trenches. Help keep our channel ad-free by becoming a supporter over on Patreon and also scoring yourself some free miniature swag in the process. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out our site, spikybits.com, for all the hot hobby tutorials, news, rumors on all your favorite hobby topics. And head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today. Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Rob Baer here today with the eagerly anticipated issue of White Dwarf. This is 122, and it's chock full of hobby goodness. We got the new Total War Warhammer coming in hot, and along with Games Workshop's new product line, the ginormous base release, which is super crazy, kind of a really interesting direction for the company. I feel like, you know, putting out something. Well, you always know a company has made it when they put out accessories for their game. You know, Fantasy Flight's putting out dials, you know, custom dials for X-Wing. So X-Wing has made it. You know Warhammer obviously has made it. But when they start doing more and more accessories and things like that, it just basically unlocks like the potential for so many different directions and releases on things. You know, dog tags, wristbands, T-shirts. Obviously, a lot of the stuff that they focused on over the past 6 to 8 months, and now we're seeing this direction here, and it's just really refreshing to see it because, you know, it's something that it's just good for the hobby in general, you know, customizing all your stuff. So there's 5 new basing kits that are coming out for Warhammer 40k, and there's a large base kit which has got a bunch of debris of various types in it. It's 72 basing accessories, which I imagine is going to be a couple of sprues, right? And it's going to be interesting to see if these bases actually come on a sprue and you have to snip them off, or if they're individual. I'm sure we'll see it this weekend with all the previews over Memorial Day here in the States. But it is $33, so they're all $33 for the most part, which is actually quite affordable once you start, crunching the numbers on it compared to some of the resin bases out there. Now the cons are there's only one variety. You know, you got your urban rubble basically. You know, you don't have rolling meadows. You don't have swamps. You don't have deserts. You don't have Martian earth. And stuff like that. You have one variety. Now, of course, you can paint it like all of those, but you don't have the actual textured base itself. So there's the large base detail kit. Of course, the 32mm round basing kit, which comes with 60 of these bad boys for only $33. So it's like 55 cents a base. Obviously way more affordable than all the resin companies out there. But again, comes in at one. Just like Henry Ford said, they can have any color they want as long as it's black. Well, you know what? There it is right there. You can have any style you want as long as it's urban rubble. So I would hope that Games Workshop takes a look at this, sees how their sales are, and it's like, hey, maybe we could put out another line of these bases, down the road, ? Because that would just be dope. And then, of course, you've got the old school 25mm bases that a lot of models still use, and the 40mm bases, still a definite staple in most armies right there. And then if you flip over here, you got the rounds and ovals, which are really cool to see because a lot of the bikes and stuff are going to these ovals from the pill, which converted over from the cavalry base just a few more years ago. So it's like this gradual progression, just kind of moving forward more and more forward. So you got a 90mm oval, 60, the standard 60 round, and then you've got the 90. This is one of these is a 75. I think GW messed up in the description here. But anyways, so you get 6, 6, and 6 of those. So for 18 different bases for $33 as well. So it's not quite 55 cents a base, but it's still pretty decent, I feel like, for, this base right here usually costs, $2 to $3, loose. And now you're getting it for a pretty decent deal right there. Then we've got new Citadel layer paints that were very similar to the ones that they dropped around Age of Sigmar time. Gemstone paints, which they're kind of like they're like thicker, like kind of glossier and thicker, I guess. And they're more for like if you just want to paint something white and then just kind of hit it, with one of these, just boom right on top, it'll get you done. And then of course they've got the old shades here, the existing shades, but they're gloss, so they're going to be a little bit more shinier, which kind of helps out with a lot of different things depending on what effects you're trying to do. Now, I'm not exactly sure besides a time saver, because if you're trying to gloss something, of course, but I'm not exactly sure what the aim of these particular are, besides maybe the seal and kind of candy coat sort of things, but they would actually look good over metallics as well, I imagine. A couple more releases. Obviously, the Iron Circle's coming out for the Iron Warriors. These are, Perturbo's, basically his bodyguard, or that he created. They're the Domitar class pattern automata from Forge World. They're basically the Mechanicum guys, and you can ally them in. I think the Domitar's all about 175. These guys end up being like 30 points more because I think you're paying for the Seed Shield and the Shock Maul thing. They seem pretty good. They're obviously pricey and they only work with one thing, but you remember, if you have the certain unlock class, the Captain guy, the console, you can actually take these in a normal army if you have the Cortex controller thingy. So that's kind of something to think about too. Now, granted, you might not want all that Iron Warriors iconography, but I mean, why wouldn't you? Let's be honest. And then over here, just got some new some Visions release in Teleron Ironclad, another venerable book in that series, actually. So, I mean, it's a pretty good lineup, I feel like. And then they got the preview for the Total War Warhammer video game, which is out right now, actually. It looks great. I saw somebody playing it a little while ago, and I was like, wow, yep, that looks pretty amazing. So mad I don't have time to play video games. But if you're playing it, definitely let people know. It's a really cool feature in here. There's the guys actually played games, to get the feel for, obviously the people developing the games has something to do with the games, or else, it wouldn't be as passionate of a release and development as it was. And then there's like a pull-out poster on it and all sorts of stuff. And then they show you how to do your city fight bases right here in another great paint splatter, and more, getting all technical with your Rise of Rust or Riz of Rust, depending on what you want to call it there, and all of that sort of things right there. So lots of great hobby features in here this week, and then they show you how to do the gemstones as well right here. You basically just hit them with like a white, and then hit it with that glossy stuff right there. And then this actually shows you the difference between the gloss shades right there. Like, that's normal and that's glossy, that's normal and that's glossy. So you don't really have to do a matte coat after that. It's like almost seal coated at that point, I feel like. And then it gets into a lot of other features in here. We're not going to show you everything, but I did want to show you this fantastic looking Nurgle army that's in here. It is just incredible. I mean, you got crazy looking plague bears with like assault torsos and jump packs and all sorts of craziness here. They got the Vermin Lord are converted up to be some sort of like crazy plague reaper of death. Hell Brute obviously converted very well here. A Sentinel, like a Renegade Sentinel. You got some of the drones right there. Obviously this badass Lord of Skulls here. Now, I've seen this feature before. I think I've actually featured it on Spiky Bits as well, but I never knew that he did the whole army like that. It's just amazing stuff right there. Is that I thought that might have been a converted. No, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, it's just I thought it might have been a corrupted Tigurius. That would have been really neat. And then the teaser for next week, Master of Machines, Lord of the Brood, and Crate Expectations. We know the armored crates are coming out. They were spotted on eBay for sale already, strangely enough. Master of Machines, not exactly sure what that means. Or Lord of the Brood, but I imagine that has something to do with the Brood Lord. Could it be a battle report? Could it be a new release for Deathwatch? Could it be... could this be AdMech? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows, because Games Workshop does all these red herrings. They said getting technical and things last week, and then sure enough, we got new technical paint. So sometimes they're red herrings, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're about the battle report, sometimes they're not. So you just gotta like kind of wait and see. But I tell you what, those new crates are looking pretty dope. Those armored crates for the new 40k terrain pieces that apparently come with rules too as well. We featured a really in-depth article about the contents of the box and what some of the industry insiders were telling us about it, that will be out on the 4th, and then we have Battle of Vedros coming out, and we also have the Lost Patrol coming out on the 11th. So the next 3 weeks of 40k releases seem to be lined up pretty good. You may not see the Vedros stuff at your local game store, but you will see it at the big box kind of stores.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. TheLongWar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos,